In the last session, we discussed about state and use state concept, that is use state hook, what we call it as. Today, let us move to the next one, forms and controlled components. So what is the main use of going with forms? To accept the user input. So you can say like in React, forms are used to take input from users. Like we can take text, numbers, or some selections. They work just like HTML forms. They work what? Just like HTML forms, but are controlled. The forms are controlled by React state. So last class we have discussed now the state concept, same thing here. So they look like HTML forms, but they are controlled by using what? React state. So that we can easily track and update the input values. We can easily track and update the input values. The forms in React can be easily added and used as simple React element. Forms in React can be easily added and used as what? Simple React element. Means the complete form we can manage by using one state variable. By using one state variable, we can manage the complete React form. Okay. In controlled component, the form elements values is driven by React state. So whatever the form we are going to create, that form element value, we make it as what? A React state. And every keystroke value, every keystroke updates that state. Means once you create the form, if you click on submit button, whatever the form element we have created, we are going to driven like what? React state. So when you click on button, we are going to update the state. We are going to update the state through on change handler. We are going to update the form element data using what? On change handler. It gives full control over validations and the submitted data. You can have full control over your validation and even submitted data. Once we see the application, concept of these forms and control components will be simple to us. Let me elaborate using the example application. Let me create a folder, forms, in components folder. Open the project folder in command prompt. Open this project in Visual Studio Code. Let me close this. Now, let me create one folder under components, create one new folder, forms. Now, in this folder, forms, let us create a component, a file, create a file, sign up form.js in forms folder. sign up form. Let us do this step now. In forms folder, create a new file, sign up form.js. Now, here we are going to make use of use state concept, use state hook. So write import use state from React. Then, now create a function, sign up form. Create a function, sign up form. And before I miss out, let me write here export default sign up form. In this function, we are going to create a form. Whatever the form we create, we want to make it as a state here. So how to do that one is, yesterday we discussed constant. I am taking the state as form data. I'm taking the state name as form data. And what we have to call set method, set form data. Set form data. This is our setter method equal to use state, and we have to provide the initial value. We have to provide the initial value. See how I'm providing initial value in this form. I'm going to take name with initial value a empty space, comma email with a empty space, comma course with empty space. Right? So we have created a constant state called as form data. The name of the state is form data. We are going to update that form data using set form data, and initial state you are going with use state. And we are for this form data, I'm going with three properties: name, email, and codes. Initial values are empty space. So I'm managing the complete form data as a state here. So that is the point what we have mentioned here. That's the point here. Okay. So here they work like simple HTML forms, but controlled by React state. Controlled by React state here. Okay. So in control components, the form element values is driven by using what? React state. And based on our keystrokes, we can update this state value. Now, let us create one function, handle change, which takes event as argument. Now here we go, constant name comma value, constant name comma value equal to event dot target. We have to call the method event dot target. So we are saying what here? Handle change, constant name comma value equal to event dot target, so that we can store the previous value. The use of this handle change is to store the previous value of your event like this. Set form data. We are calling this setter method, set form data. And we are going to take the previous value, and we are going to assign like this in between curly braces. Parenthesis, curly braces. Here we have to use 3 dots, previous, comma, in square bracket name, colon, the value. Name, colon, the value. Right? So the use of this handle event is to store the previous data of your form. That I'm setting into this set form data. Now, create one more function. Handle submit. That means when you click on the submit button, then take the event and say event dot prevent default, then right here console.log submitting form data. So whatever the data we have accepted from user, that I'm going to display on my console. So handle submit, whatever the data we get into this event, we are calling the method event.prevent default. Prevent default. Now, right? So the use of this prevent default is, the need of calling this method is stop the browsers, default page reload. That is the need of calling this method event.prevent default, stop the browser's default page reload. Now, what we are doing, what are the form data we get? We are displaying that form data on our console screen. There. Once it is done, now create the form. Now let us design the form. So how to design the form? Using return. Design the form here. So how to create a form here? Form tag, same form tag. Form tag on submit will call handle submit. That means when you click on the submit button, we are invoking this handle submit. Now create the input field, input type equal to text, name equal to name, the name of the text field is name, and value equal to, we are setting to this form data dot name. So what is this form data? This one. We have given the state now form data, and whatever the name we are accepting, that we are setting to which one? Form data dot name. So what is the value we enter in this text field, that will go and store into this name field. Then on change means when you change the value of this text field, on change, we have to call the function handle change. Then say placeholder full name. Just we'll go with the placeholder as full name. That's it. Then break the line. Similar way, create one more text field, input type equal to email, name equal to email, then value equal to, should bind with what? Form data dot email. Then on change equal to, call the function handle change. Then placeholder will say email. Break the line. Next, let us go with one more. Select option. Select name equal to quotes. Value equal to form data dot quotes. Form data dot quotes. Then on change, call the function same handle change. Then here we have to provide the list of options. Like option value equal to Java. I'm going with full stack Java. One more option value equal to Python, full stack Python. Option value equal to web technologies. Right, we have created totally 3 options. Break the line. Create a button here. Button type equal to submit. And we'll say the value as sign up. We'll say the value as sign up. That's it. And right here, exports its default sign up form. So this is the way to create forms in React. Then, once this is done, let me copy this code and paste over here. Once this component is ready, then what is our next step? Update app.jsx. App.jsx. So go to this app component. Now what we need to do? We need to render our component sign up. That's it. Render the component sign up. Now run the project. npm run dev. Once it's ready, open browser and type the URL localhost 5173. See here, it's asking the name, then email, then the codes, which codes you want to choose. Then once you click on sign up, now see the console. I've just displayed the data in console. So right click and say inspect, and on our console, we can see our data here. So codes, it's not taking, right? Codes, it's not taking. URSC. Let's see the output. It's coming 0. I did not do any change in that. That's the reason it's not selecting. So when you do the changes, that details will come and store into our object here. So here, these details I'm showing on our console screen. Clear this application, all of you? Any questions? Right. Moving to the next concept over here, very, very important one. The next concept is very, very important. That is React router. Client-side navigation. React router, client-side navigation. So what is this routing? It's mainly used for developing single page applications. So we are trying to understand the concept of routing. So routing is mainly for what purpose? To develop single page applications. So whenever you make a request, instead of reloading the complete page, only part of the page will be reloaded. So for every request, the page will not get reloaded. So routing is used to develop single page applications. React router is the standard library. React router is a standard library for handling navigation in a single page React app. Without full page reload. Instead of reloading the complete full page, only part of the page will be reloaded. That's main use of going with routing concept or React router. Then, in order to work with the React routing, we have to install one library here. Install React route DOM using the following command. Using the below command. Set your prompt, use the command npm install React router DOM. Let me show this command. How to come out of this? Q, press Q and press enter key. Now in our project folder only, we have to install React router DOM like this. npm install React router DOM. Press enter key. Then it's going to take care of installing the packages. Now once this is done, so now we can able to make use of this React routing in our applications. For that one, in order to make use of React, one small update we need to do. Example application, we need to update main.js file. We need to update main.js file. Small update. What is this main.js file? It is an entry point, right? So if you open this main.js file, you can find here main.js. Here we need to import our React router. We need to import two imports here like this. Here we need to import React DOM. What happened? Import React DOM from React DOM client. We need to go with one more import here. Import browser router. We need to import browser router from React router DOM. So these two imports we need to do in main.js. And here, instead of strict mode, we have to go with browser router. Instead of strict mode, what we have to use here? Browser router. So these updates we need to do. So these two lines of import statements and here browser writer. Under this, we need to render our app component. So this change we need to do in main.js in order to make use of routing in our project. Okay. The next step. Let me paste the complete code for your reference. The next step, create a folder routing in components folder. Create a folder routing in components folder. Create a file header.jsx in routing folder. In routing folder, create a file header.jsx. Under components folder, how did I mention right? Components folder. Under components folder, create a new folder, routing. In this routing folder, create a new file, header.jsx. Here, you need to import import link from router, React router dot. Next, create a function header. Create a function header. Here we are going to return. Here will be written in navigation link to slash home. So I'm creating a link called as home. And what is the path here? Link to slash. Slash means no, the base path. This we call it as the root path. There. Let us create one more. Link to about link to contact. Okay, right? So I've just created here 3 links here: home, about, and contact. Like that, how many you want, you can able to create here. Then next, right at the end, export default header. Export default header. So this is the code what we have written in header. Now let us render this header in our app.jsx. In app.jsx, render this. How to render this app.jsx? Just you can include what here? Header. This is not required. Just we are rendering header. Now check the result. Let us build the project. npm run dev. Here we got the hyperlinks: home, about, and contact. Right? So this is our header. Then the next one, let us create a file footer.jsx in routing folder. In routing folder, create this footer.jsx. In routing folder, create a new file footer.jsx. Now, in this one, create a function footer. Simply we'll return here h3 copyright Raj Technologies. Some message. Then at the end, right here, export to default footer. Now in app.jsx, we need to render footer. So right here, footer, render this. Now see, in our page, we are getting see our footer here. So we have done with header part and footer part. Now, for every component, we need to, whenever you click on home, the component home component should get loaded. So for that one, create a file. Create a file home.jsx in routing folder. Home.jsx. Home.jsx. Create here. So under routing folder, create a new file home.jsx. Here you go with the function home. Function home, where we will return, where we are going to return h3 home page. I'm returning here h3 home page. Now, once this is done, now in our app.jsx. In our app.jsx, the major part now. Here, when you click on this home, it should load our home component. This home component should get loaded. Then how to set that path here is in app.jsx. Here, in between header and footer, you go here with the element routes. Go with the element routes, right? Then once we make use of this element routes, is it imported? No, right? Routes. This one we have to select React router DOM. We have to use this routes. Then in between these routes, we have to use like this route. Use this route from React router DOM. Here we should say route path equal to slash means root path. If the path is root, element, which element it has to load? Home component. Load home component. Not loading. This is the problem. Export default home. Come back here. Now type up once again here home. See, it's coming here. If it's not coming means we have missed that export. So when the path is slash means root, where we have mentioned that in header.jsx, we have mentioned say link to slash. When the root path, if it is no path, it has to load home. So when I click on home, what is the path here? Slash goes to app.jsx, goes to this app.jsx, sees the path as slash, then which component it has to load? Home component. It has to load the home component. Check the result here. See, when you click on home, see here, we are getting see home page. About no link, contact no link. So home. Now, next one. Next one, what we are having? About. So, create a file about.jsx in routing folder. About.jsx. Let us write the code for about.jsx. So create a function about. So under routing, create a new file about.jsx. Here, create a function about and we'll return page 3 about page. Get don't miss out export to default up. Now in app.jsx, what changes we need to do? Where is that file? App.jsx. Here we need to refer to the which path here? About path. So here you mention route path equal to about. When the path is about, the element which has to load, it has to load which component? About component. It has to load the about component. Now check the result here in our page. When you click on about, see, we are getting the about page. Home means home page, about means about page. Similar way, create your contact page. Create what? Contact page. Create a file contact.jsx in routing folder. contact.js. Let us create this file under routing folder, create a new file, contact.js. Create a function contact. Here we provide the contact information written. Provide here H4 contact number, some number, paragraph, email, some email. Should go with only one root element here. Right? Then right here export default contact. Now how to render this contact in our page? Go to this app.jsx file. So we need to render here. Add one more path, row, path equal to contact. Route path equal to contact, element equal to which element we have to refer? Contact here. That's it. So where you are getting these details? In header.jsx, we have provided here. When the path is slash home, when I click on home, what path it's going to do? Link to slash. So goes to this app.jsx, link to slash means path. If path is slash, it's going to load home component. When you click on about, what is linked here? About. So goes to this app.jsx, sees the path as about. If the path is about, it's going to load about component. Similar way, when you click on contact, so it's going with contact, goes to this path as contact, and it's going to load contact component. Right? Now see the result. When you click on home page, about means about page, contact means contact page. Right? For this one, you can even update this app.css file. Navigation, some padding. Let me take some 15 pixels. Here we got some space. Here. So to get this gap between these components, home hyperlink, about hyperlink, and contact hyperlink, we have added the navigation A, margin right, 15 pixels. Okay. Contact.jsx. Next step, update app.jsx file. App.jsx. So this is the code present in app.jsx. And finally, update app.css file. So just we have provided the styles in app.css. Okay. Build the project or run the project. How to run? npm run dev. The next step, open browser and type the URL http://localhost:5173 to see the result. Clear all of you? The meaning of routing. Right? So in the next session, we are going to see one more very important part of our React. That is, we are going to invoke our Spring Boot REST API. How to invoke this REST API from our React application. That we are going to see in the next class.